Randy, I didn't see you at the food truck festival this weekend. Why weren't you there?
I cooked my own meal. How's that sound?
Yeah.
I'm a domestic god. You know how that goes, right? Bachelor, pizza, cheese, meat, pepperoni, little adult beverage, and
It's the UK lady that is it UK? Andrea Merkel?
what is she? Germany?
Is it Germany? Yeah, there was an article about her I
Right.
saw that she does her own laundry, cooks her own food, cleans her own house. She
Really?
doesn't have servants. I'm like, poor lady.
Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah,
hey, more power to her.
yeah, yeah.
Good
So how
deal.
you doing, buddy?
Whew, I'm good. I'm good. Just my eyes are a little blurry. We just had a 4-day conference in Las Vegas. I didn't go.
You didn't
I
go?
watched it virtually. Now I'm part of our local SHRM chapter, and so anyway, that's human resources. And so yeah, I've got a lot of new intel and some action things we can look to try with our chapter. So excited about that. Also excited about our show coming up this week because it's kind of near and dear to my heart as far as working at Goodwill and such. But let me introduce myself real quickly and I'll throw it to you. Randy Wooden. I work with Goodwill Industries of Northwest North Carolina. So we serve 31 counties. That's a lot of turf. It's from Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, and then everything north and west throughout the state. And I run our professional center. So as you might imagine, if you're a job hunter, maybe with a college degree or been in a leadership role, maybe a salaried position, our services are free. Reach out to me. If you watch us on our Wednesday show and you're a job hunter, again, feel free to reach out to me. We're happy to help. We do work by appointment, so just get on the calendar, reach out. We'll make that happen. But happy to help. Yeah. And let me turn it back to you, Teddy.
Yeah. So those who don't know me, Teddy Burriss, LinkedIn strategist, coach, and trainer. The business is Burriss Consulting. We absolutely love helping business professionals and organizations in all kinds of industries, B2B or B2C, who want to get more value out of LinkedIn. We do it through our corporate training programs, our one-on-one coaching, our mastermind groups, our monthly webinar series. Heck, we actually put implants in people's arms filled with knowledge. Oh, shoot. I wasn't supposed to say that out loud, was I?
I have an implant right here. Wait, it's right here. Can you see that lump right there?
I see that
it's
lump.
A microchip, Teddy, because that now I can see into the future.
Yeah. Good.
I can see into the future. And I can tell you that our guest coming up on Wednesday will be talking about transitioning into the nonprofit world. So we'll make mention who they are, but I'm going to lead off with a story, and it was a dark and stormy night. But no, it's a quick story about how I came to work at Goodwill. I had not worked in a not-for-profit before. Mm-hmm. And so how did I get to Goodwill and make that transition? And it's really not much different from how you might transition into a for-profit, meaning maybe you do some volunteer work somewhere and somebody in a for-profit industry maybe is working shoulder to shoulder, pounding nails or putting coats on kids or March of Dimes. I think you spend a lot of time with that, and you get to work on projects with people who work elsewhere. Well, it just so happened that in my case, my business started to die. The work I do now is what I did on my own for many years. But as the economy died around 2009, 10, 11, I started doing a lot more volunteer work or just, freebies. You know what that's like, Teddy, right?
I do.
Anyway, I got to do some work at Goodwill so they could see me. And then I also did some adjunct instructing through Forsyth Tech. So that wasn't volunteer work, but it was performed inside of Goodwill in the four walls. Mm-hmm. And so they could see me engage with participants, with their employees and such. And so as the opportunity for professional center became available, I was a logical choice because not only had I done that work before, so I was a hand in glove fit, but they had seen me in action before. And I will just tell you that working at a nonprofit is not just picking daisies all day and sitting around kumbaya. You still work. And so I think people have a little misconception about what life might be like in a nonprofit. I think the mission is great, but it's not as though we just sit around and sing songs all day. We don't. We work, and we're a business. And anybody who's walked into a retail store understands that. We sell product and we take the revenues and plow that into my exorbitant salary. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Somebody's got to pay for that man cave.
You should see the man cave. It is so gorgeous. So yes, that's the short story is be seen, express interest, and don't be too pushy about it. Because we've had people that, I love to work at Goodwill, and it becomes a bit of a turnoff. And not just in nonprofits, I think with any company.
Yeah.
So treat people the way you want to be treated. Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. I mean, a lot of people who work to support a mission are pretty passionate about that mission.
Yep.
But then a lot of people who work for corporations can get pretty passionate about that corporation. And sometimes that can be a detriment when you overexert your passion onto others. But I will tell you that I worked, I was on the board of directors for a local March of Dimes for I don't know, 5 years. And I got to do a lot of really cool stuff and work with a lot of really cool people who cared about the mission and cared about the work that they did. And that for me was really fulfilling to be a part of that. And to see that, it may be a nonprofit that's mission driven to help society and to help little children, but it really was also a mission to do the job right. And so I really garnered, I think it's the word I'm looking for, garnered a new respect for nonprofit employees, nonprofit workers, nonprofit leaders and managers, because they didn't just care about the mission. They cared about doing the job right. Worked with this one lady, and I'll call her Judy because that was her name. And Judy was smart as a whip, whatever that means. I don't know what that means, right? He's smart as a whip. But
I thought it was sharp as a tack. Let's go with that because we know a tack is sharp. It should be anyway.
Yeah. Let's go with that. I'll tell you a story about a tack. We'll do that one later on. But Judy was really smart, and she really cared about the mission, and she knew how to lead people to participate and lead people to serve and lead people to execute. And so the nonprofit space is, or the not-for-profit space, which we'll learn more about on Wednesday, is really just an interesting organization or in business environment that we shouldn't be ignoring. So that was my story. I love working with the March of Dimes. I love doing what was back in those days, the North Carolina Chili Championship and Rubber Duck Regatta.
I remember that. Were you part of the mastermind team that put that together? Was that part of your?
Me and about 150 people every year.
I remember that. I was a chili cook-off, and my stomach these days I can't even stand to smell chili anymore because that would just not be a good thing. But I was a judge in a chili cook-off contest back in my radio days. Yeah. And the hotter, the better. And oh my goodness, that's the one time in my life that I did that. And it'll be the last time, I can assure you.
I brought together 150 chili judges every year. So it was a lot of fun. Randy, our show this week, okay, is we're at show 75, man.
Wow.
Amy Lytle and Renee Rohrer.
Yep.
Working in the nonprofit space. It's going to be the conversation. Amy and Renee are going to share ideas and perspectives about that working environment, ideas about being a part of it, and maybe even ideas of how to discover opportunities. It'll be a fun conversation because I think it's an area that all of us should consider as we transition through our careers. Yep. Maybe it's time to start giving back, make a little money while we're doing it. And join the not-for-profit or the nonprofit space. So join us on Wednesday.
Yeah, and I get that from particularly my clients as they kind of transition from what I'll call the last heavy taxing job that they've had. Yeah. And they're at a point where they say, I've climbed the ladder, I've made the money, I had the corner office kind of thing. And money is not the driver for me. My kids are out of college and I want to work and do meaningful work and feel like it has impact in the community, and money is not the sole driver. I've heard that nonprofits have great missions, and so I'd like to explore that. So I hear that a lot. Hey, I got a quick tip, but first, as a side note, I got something for you. A side note. Remember Melissa Hughes? She was the neuroscientist, Dr. Melissa Hughes. She talked
got
about
all up inside your and my head.
Yeah, all the stuff about uncertainties, impact on the brain, and imposter syndrome. Anyway, tomorrow on Tuesday, 14th, tomorrow, she's going to be a guest of mine and of Goodwill. We're going to do a Goodwill webinar. Cool. And again, talking about that same kind of topic. So if you want more intel on that, just reach out and I'll give it to you. But my quick tip is this. We all know that hopefully an email address should not be things like sexymama@gmail.com. Well, you can have it, but don't do it in your professional job.
Oh, so just keep that over on my football pool side.
Put it on your Tinder. Use it for your Tinder account.
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
But I think we all know that, hopefully by now. But here's something that I've been seeing more and more, and it kind of bugs me a little bit. And it's the sender email name. So when I get an email, let's say from Teddy Burriss, it might be, whatever, TL Burriss at Burriss Consult, whatever. But just to the left of that, it has the name that you have chosen to have. And that should be your name. It shouldn't be your spouse's name. It shouldn't be your pet name. It shouldn't be Panther fan.
Not Big
Bubba. None of that stuff. And I've seen that more and more often now. And I have to question, okay, if you're sending this to an employer and they're looking and they're going to say, who's Bubba? As opposed to, oh, this is from Teddy. So just a quick tip, make sure it's your name next to the email address. So there you go.
And I would wager you would also say, make sure your email address is on your resume.
That too. And I've had that. I've had it where there's been no phone. I've had no phone and no email. I even had one with no name on it. Believe it or not, no name. So all of that, but just know you want to do the right thing and make a good first impression. And I think you've got a impression thing about LinkedIn you want to tip, right?
Well, hey, I've been doing some research, Randy, and my tip for this week is you don't have to connect on LinkedIn. You don't need to connect unless there's importance or relevance to do so, because there's some new features to LinkedIn that once you send an invite specifically with a note, and that person engages on that note, comments or replies back, then you can keep the conversation going even though you're not connected. So you don't have to connect with everyone on LinkedIn just because they send you an invite. And I often encourage you, don't connect with people unless you see the relevance. It's really important. Don't clutter up your LinkedIn network or your network in general with a bunch of people who are, somewhat irrelevant to you. Just, say thank you for the invite and period. And you don't have to hit accept, and you can keep engaging them on that through that note. So anyway, Randy, it's a rainy day in Winston-Salem. Hope you're doing well. We still need to get together, and we got to pull something off. We got to plan something. So we'll do that soon. So
I'll have my people get with your people. We'll get our staffs together and we'll work that out. So looking forward to a great show coming up with Amy and also Renee. And if you have ideas, if you're watching and you have ideas for topics or guests that you think would add value to the audience, we'd love to have a chat with them and explore that a little further. So reach out to either one of us. We're happy to try to work them on the show. So I think, Teddy, we're booked up for a good ways in the future, but then again, time goes by quickly. We're going to hit fall here before very much longer, my friend.
Yep. So, all right, man, pumpkin spice soon. So I'll talk to you later.
All right. I'll see you.